Hi guys, Maikeru here. This is my video on Shattered Worlds. This is the update that came out today and it's absolutely incredible. I haven't had this much fun on an update on Runescape in a good while. It's some new awesome content with some amazing rewards which I'll go into detail about in this video. And I can see myself doing this quite a lot in the future to get all of the awesome rewards and to just have fun. So let's get into it. Just some quick info about this update before I talk about the rewards and then show you me doing it firsthand a little bit. Iron Man accounts have no limitations. That means the rewards here of the Slayer mask can be gotten by Iron Men. Before this minigame there was no way to get the masks on an Iron Man account, and now it's possible, so that's an awesome little thing they've done in order to help out Iron Man accounts heavily. This is also a safe minigame, so you won't have to worry about paying money if you die, and you can just have fun with it. Also, this means that hardcore Iron Men can have fun with the minigame too. So I'll definitely be trying it out on mine eventually. There are two portals to choose from. The blue portal, which is the standard portal, which I'll show you in this video, and there's also a challenge portal, which is the orange portal. There's just extra challenges to go alongside the orange portal that have a few extra rewards. As the world number you choose increases, so does the difficulty. This is exponentially increased after world 100. You have to start off on worlds 1 to 5, and then once you've done that, you can then progress further. You get a checkpoint to continue from every 5 worlds. So if you died on world 76, you could then start again on 75 and work your way through just like you would have anyway. So you don't have to start from 1 every single time, just the first time you do it. You fight random monsters with random mutators. Mutators are mostly good, but they can also be bad, and there's quite a few little bad ones. But there is more good than bad, so typically you might get 2 good mutators and 1 bad mutator when you're doing a run. I think there was only one time that I got 2 bad mutators in a run. Anyway, let's start talking about the rewards. As for the rewards, you have new sigils which can be shown with the sigil slot that's now in your worn inventory. The first sigil you have is the Sigil of Slaying. This Sigil of Slaying will increase Slayer experience gained by 10% for 30 seconds. It has a 60-second cooldown, so half the time you can get 10% more experience with Slayer. The Ferocious Sigil causes all mobs in Curadel's dungeon to instantly respawn for 30 seconds. This one doesn't feel so good because it would only be beneficial to the mobs killed in Curadel's Slayer dungeon, and there's not too many mobs you're going to kill in there that you care about being respawned instantly. The last one is an Aggression Sigil. Using this causes everything around you to immediately begin attacking you. It has a cooldown of a minute as well, so this sigil also isn't as good as the Sigil of Slayer in my opinion. It can be helpful, but having a cooldown of a minute really reduces the effectiveness of this sigil. Next up we have a new ability. This ability is called the Bladed Dive. You need to have melee dual wield to use this AoE ability, so it's a new dual wield AoE ability. Dual wield doesn't really have many of those, so that's great. You leap towards your specified location, spinning your blades around as you land, and you deal damage to all nearby enemies. It's a basic ability that requires 65 attack. What it doesn't say here is that the cooldown on this ability is reset if a mob hit with it is killed within 6 seconds of being hit by this ability. This means that this ability can be reset quite often in Shattered Worlds and in things like the Abyss. This could lead to some very good XP rates with certain monsters, or very fast clear times in Shattered Worlds. It will be interesting to test this ability out. The next ability is Salt the Wound. This ability deals weapon damage for every puncture stack on the enemy and resets the puncher's duration. This also upgrades the dazing shot to apply the punctured effect to enemies. So not only does it give you a new ability, it also upgrades dazing shot, which is pretty cool. It seems like quite a good little ability, especially when you're killing a boss that you will want to refresh the puncher's duration on to get maximum DPS. That will also be good fun to test out. Next up we have the Abyssal Knight's Armor Override, so it's just a armor override that looks quite cool. We have an Abyssal Slayer contract. This gives you a random subset of creatures to kill within Shattered Worlds for Slayer experience. I'm not 100% sure on how much Slayer experience this gives, but it could be a good way to train Slayer while doing this minigame. You can also buy a huge Slayer lamp, which obviously just gives some Slayer experience. In the next tab we have pets. It starts off with the anima pet tier 1 for 900k anima, so it's super cheap, but it looks really basic. Then once you have every previous tier, you can buy the tier up from it. So you start on tier 1, you can buy tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, etc. until you get down to the tier 9. The tier 9 looks absolutely awesome, but it costs 58 million anima along with all of the previous anima costs. So it would be super expensive to get tier 9, but if you enjoy this minigame, you can show off how much you've done it with this awesome pet. And lastly, we have the Slayer masks. There's quite a few good Slayer masks. You have the high end one and the low end one. Out of the low end, you have stuff like the Mask of Gelatin, the Mask of Stench, and the Mask of Dagannoth. All of those give some really good Slayer assignments. And for the high tier, you obviously have Mask of the Abyss, Mask of Gloom, Mask of Granite, Mask of the Era, all of the awesome ones that you can use. This is probably the best thing they've included because obviously, like I said earlier, Iron Men can now buy these masks, which is absolutely awesome. And then alongside that, if you haven't been lucky on the Treasure Hunter, you can now get the mask via in-game means. Such a cool update and so many good rewards. So to start, you can only do worlds 1 to 5. I believe this is going to be a lot like Dungeoneering in the fact that the low worlds will not give much anima, like the low floors not giving much experience in Dungeoneering, but the higher you get, the more anima you're gonna receive. So getting through these early floors and unlocking those high level checkpoints will be really good for anima gain. You can also tick equip me or feed me if you wanted to. That would give you some gear and some food, but I'm going to take my own food and my own gear as I think that's going to be way better. When choosing mutators, it's quite important to read what they actually do. Unfortunately, blood money, when you hit them to make them bleed anima, the anima they bleed does not scale with the level you are in. So it will always bleed a low amount of anima, which makes it not a very good perk compared to the ones that can help you speed up kill times or survivability. So something like Vampiric is going to be absolutely amazing at the higher floors. Being able to gain life whenever you hit monsters is very important. Feeling Pumped is also a really cool little ability. It has the chance of you gaining unlimited adrenaline for the next 10 seconds, so you could just use all of your thresholds for free and then carry on through the random shattered world you're in. One of the perks like Feeling Pumped or Vampiric would be a better choice than Blood Money, because like I said, Blood Money just does not give you enough anima for it to be worth taking over a good buff. I turned my graphics down recently because I've been playing on 3 accounts and it's a bit toxin on my CPU. But because this update looks so awesome, I want to actually see it in HD. It looks so beautiful now. On with killing. It's such a cool concept. It reminds me a lot of Diablo 3 Greater Rifts, where they start off really easy and progressively get harder and harder. Right now, at this point, it's so easy because obviously it's floor 1. So I can just power through these and go up levels quicker. The thing is, when you go up a level, if you've killed it in a certain amount of time and you've been quick enough, you will go up multiple floors. You can go up 1, 2 or 3 floors depending on how quickly you do your floor previously in. So if I do this floor super quick, I can go up 3 floors and then get to the higher floors and the more anima sooner. Whenever you change floors, the mobs and the scenery also changes with it. It's really cool seeing all of the different mobs and seeing some of the unconventional mobs or some outrageous mobs at that in the Shattered Worlds all together fighting you. It leads to some nice scenery and quite the confusion. At the end of every 5 worlds, you'll reach a checkpoint and come to this place. You can either open up the chest or work your way up and earn more anima the further you go, and keep the chest and open it at the end for some major anima gains. So if you're planning on doing more, you might as well skip the chest and carry on, and if you needed to stop for any reason, you could just open up the chest and exit back out. At least this gives you an indication when you hit a checkpoint. It also gives you a chance to use the bank chest to refresh on supplies, which you'll definitely have to do at the high level worlds. Oh, Araxor. That's really cool. By the time that I got to world 68, the mobs started getting quite a lot of HP compared to what they had, and were taking a couple of hits to kill at least. but I was gaining so much more anima per floor, and the mobs were dropping much more as well. So it was more rewarding killing the harder mobs. They were hitting a little bit hard, but not too hard, and it was still really easy, and I was still going up multiple floors every time I completed a world. But it's very easy to see how quickly these mobs actually scale up. Using melee with a scythe was good, but it became very tricky when there was a lot of mages on you. I would have to switch to protect from magic and chug quite a lot of food, and if I had soul split on, I'd take tons and tons of damage from all of the mobs. World 85 was unfortunately where I met my first death. My legendary pet pulled me away, even though it's a safe minigame, so I should probably take that ability off. But it was super fun getting to World 85 and progressing through this and just figuring out the minigame and having fun. I reckon in the future taking a gear switch can be very helpful, especially when circumstances like this arise where there's so many mages and you're using melee. Combat triangle and all that is not pretty. Oh crap, my legendary pets took me away. Hopefully I can still get back there and still get my reward from the chest, please jagex. Thankfully I was able to run all the way back. As I tried to enter the portal, it told me I had a reward chest waiting, so I could go straight to the reward chest and open it. Thank God that it didn't get rid of this reward chest, because it gave me so much anima and I'd been working on it for 85 floors. And finally, as for my statistics for how I did in Shattered Worlds. I started on World 1 and I ended on World 85 before I took my first death. It's all just a bit of growing pains. I'm sure I can get further in the future. You just need a couple of deaths to learn it and figure things out. Like I said, I'll probably take a weapon switch in the future. I enjoyed this so much. It was so entertaining. Thanks jagex for releasing content like this. It's going to keep me entertained for a good while, and it's got a lot of replayability. So I'm really excited doing this moving forward. I spent just over 2 hours doing these 85 floors. It says total death 0 because my legendary pet took me away. But obviously I died once. My max hit was 8.8k because obviously I didn't really zerk because I was a bit scared to do things like that. It's just probably a hit from Meteor Strike. As for the damage I dealt 10.8 million damage in total, and my weapon apparently gave 1 million of that damage. I don't know what that means. Mutators dealt 914,000 of the damage. Most of that is the electric one. The lightning electric mechanic thing is absolutely broken. It bounces from enemies all the time and helps out with DPS so much. It was my favourite perk I've tried so far. That alongside the rejuvenation perk, those two were my big favourites. My least favourite was the chicken one, as it would spawn loads of exploding chickens underneath everything I killed and I'd panic every time and run away. And in total I got 24.9 million anima, so near enough 25 million anima in 2 hours. Really happy with how much I gained, and I can see myself unlocking those abilities quite easily, and I think it's quite well balanced, as it shouldn't take too long to get those rewards. Obviously lower leveled players will take a bit longer to get the anima, but you're going to be aiming for things that cost less, like the lower tier masks. Thanks for watching. Give it a like if you did enjoy, and subscribe if you're new for future content like this. I'm really looking forward to doing more Shattered Worlds. Definitely a great update. Join my friends chat Maikeru if you fancy chatting to me or anyone else in there. Goblin Slayers with a Z is my clan. It's open to everyone and anyone, so ask for an invite if you want to join. Discord link is in the description if you fancy chatting on voice communications, and my Twitter link is in the description if you fancy following me there. And until next time. Oh, there's chickens!